Have you ever finished a meal without remembering how it tasted? I spent years rushing through meals until a health scare forced me to slow down. What I discovered about mindful eating didn't just improve my digestion, it transformed my entire relationship with food and well-being. Have you ever looked down at an empty plate and wondered where your food went? For years, that was my daily experience. Wolfing down meals while scrolling through my phone, eating lunch at my desk while answering emails, or standing over the kitchen sink consuming leftovers before rushing out the door. Food was fuel, nothing more, until my body forced me to make a change. It was a Tuesday afternoon when the intense stomach pain started. 3 hours later, I was sitting in my doctor's office, looking at test results that revealed chronic inflammation throughout my digestive tract. "Your eating habits are a big part of the problem," she said, sliding a pamphlet toward me. "Have you ever heard of mindful eating?" I hadn't, at least not in any meaningful way. Little did I know this moment would fundamentally change not just how I ate, but how I experienced food, my body, and even my approach to daily life. What is mindful eating? Mindful eating isn't a diet, it's a practice. Rooted in Buddhist principles of mindfulness, it asks us to bring full awareness to the experience of eating. It sounds simple, but in our distraction-filled world, it's revolutionary. The practice involves engaging all your senses while eating, paying attention to hunger and fullness cues, and noticing how food affects your body and mind. You eat slower, chew thoroughly, and eliminate distractions while eating. My first attempt at mindful eating felt painfully awkward. Sitting at my kitchen table with a bowl of oatmeal, I put my phone in another room and turned off the TV. I observed the texture of the oatmeal, the subtle nutty aroma, the contrast between the warm cereal and cool berries. I took small bites, chewing each one thoroughly before swallowing. The meal took twice as long as usual, and I was surprised to discover I felt satisfied with less food than I typically consumed. The digestion connection. Within just 2 weeks of practicing mindful eating, I noticed significant improvements in my digestive symptoms. The science behind this is compelling. When we eat in a rushed, stressed state, our bodies fight or flight. Response activates, directing blood away from the digestive organs and toward our muscles. This impairs digestion and can lead to inflammation, gas, bloating, and poor nutrient absorption. Conversely, eating mindfully activates our rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. This increases digestive enzyme production, improves gut motility, and enhances nutrient absorption. I found that slowing down and chewing thoroughly reduced the bloating and discomfort I come to accept as normal. Dr. Michael Jensen at the Mayo Clinic has studied this connection extensively. Eating while distracted not only leads to poor digestion, but often causes people to consume more calories than they need. Brain doesn't process satiety signals properly when attention is divided. My own experience confirmed this research. When I began practicing mindful eating, I naturally gravitated towards smaller portions without feeling deprived, simply because I was better attuned to my body signals. Beyond physical benefits, emotional well-being. Perhaps the most surprising benefit of mindful eating was how it affected my relationship with food emotionally. Before, I often felt guilt after eating certain foods or used food to soothe stress or boredom. Mindful eating helped me recognize these patterns. One evening, reaching for cookies after a difficult work call, I paused to check in with myself. Was I hungry, or was I trying to comfort myself? Recognizing it was the latter, I chose to address the emotional need directly through journaling rather than using food as an emotional band-aid. This awareness has been liberating. Food is no longer categorized as good or bad in my mind. Instead, I make choices based on how foods make my body feel. Sometimes it's a nutrient-dense salad, and sometimes it's chocolate cake. The difference is that I now fully experience and enjoy whatever I choose, without judgment or guilt. Practical steps to begin mindful eating. My journey toward mindful eating didn't happen overnight, and yours won't either. I started with one mindful meal per day, gradually expanding practice. Here's what worked for me. Create a distraction-free environment. Turn off screen, put away books, and focus solely on your meal. At first, this felt almost uncomfortable. I was so accustomed to multitasking. Express gratitude. Before eating, I take a moment to acknowledge everyone involved in bringing this food to my table. from farmers to truck drivers to grocery store workers. Engage your senses. Observe the colors, textures, and aromas of your food. Take small bites and chew thoroughly, noting the flavors and how they change as you chew. Check in with your hunger. Before, during, and after eating, rate your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10. This helps identify true hunger versus emotional eating triggers. Put down utensils between bites. This simple action prevents a mechanical shoveling of food that can happen when we're distracted. The first week was challenging. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, but gradually, meals became a peaceful interlude in my day rather than just another task to rush through. The ripple effect on my life, what began as a remedy for digestive issues, soon affected other aspects of my life. I found myself applying mindfulness to other activities, truly listening during conversations rather than mentally preparing my response, enjoying the sensations of a walk instead of viewing it merely as exercise, savoring a cup of tea instead of gulping it down. My stress levels decreased noticeably. Research at Harvard Medical School supports this connection, showing that mindful eating practices can reduce cortisol levels and improve overall stress management. I was experiencing this research firsthand. Sleep improved too. By eating more mindfully at dinner and stopping when comfortably full rather than stuffed, my sleep quality noticeably improved. No more tossing and turning with digestive discomfort. Mindful eating in social settings. Practicing mindful eating at home alone is one thing. Maintaining it in social settings presented new challenges. At restaurant with friends, I worried I'd seem antisocial or pretentious by eating slowly and putting down my fork between bites. I found a middle ground by arriving at social meals moderately hungry, not ravenous, choosing restaurants with a relaxed atmosphere, and engaging fully in conversation while still paying attention to my food and hunger cues. Sometimes I explain what I'm doing, and interestingly, many friends have become curious about trying mindful eating themselves. One friend, after observing my new eating style, commented, "You seem to get more pleasure from half a dessert than I get from eating the whole thing." Exactly. By eating mindfully, I extract maximum enjoyment from smaller quantities of food. It's quality over quantity, a concept that applies to so many aspects of fulfilling life. Mindful eating and weight management. While weight loss wasn't my primary motivation for adopting mindful eating, it became a natural side effect. Research published in the Journal of Obesity found that mindful eating practices were associated with significant decreases in weight and binge eating behaviors. My own experience reflected these findings. Without imposing strict rules or feeling deprived, I lost 15 pounds over 6 months simply by eating according to my body's true needs and stopping when satisfied rather than stuffed. The weight loss was gradual and sustainable, unlike my previous dieting attempts that inevitably led to rebound weight gain. More importantly, it happened without obsessing over calories or feeling restricted. Cultivating a new relationship with food. Perhaps the most profound benefit has been developing a healthier relationship with food overall. Food is now a source of nourishment, pleasure, and connection, not a source of stress or guilt. I've become more experimental in my cooking, more appreciative of simple, whole foods, and more attuned to how different foods affect my energy and mood. I spend more on high-quality ingredients, but waste less food overall, as I'm more conscious of what I purchase and prepare. This mindful approach has even influenced my shopping habits. I find myself drawn to local farmers markets, engaging with producers, and learning about where my food comes from. This connection to the food system has deepened my appreciation for each meal, the ongoing journey. Mindful eating isn't a destination but a practice, one that I continue to refine. There are still days when I find myself scarfing down lunch while answering emails or mindlessly reaching for snacks during a movie. The difference now is that I notice when this happens and can gently redirect my attention. This practice has taught me that transformation doesn't always require dramatic changes or strict regimens. Sometimes the most profound changes come from simply paying attention to what we're already doing. My digestive issues haven't disappeared completely, but they've improved dramatically. More significantly, I've developed tools to manage them without medication. My relationship with food, once complicated by guilt, convenience, and disconnection, has become one of my greatest sources of daily pleasure and well-being. If you've been struggling with digestive issues, emotional eating, or simply feeling disconnected from your body signals, I encourage you to try mindful eating. Start with just one meal a day. Put away distractions, slow down, and really taste your food. Notice how it feels in your body. The simple act of paying attention can be transformative. If this video resonated with you, please click subscribe to join our community of mindful eaters. And I'd love to hear about your experiences with mindful eating. Comment below with one thing you noticed when you tried eating more mindfully. What small step will you take today toward a more mindful relationship with food?